Today we're going to talk about why I love this silly old SUV so much. Let's go. All right, folks, well, we're out here in my 2002 Nissan Xterra, and today we're going to talk about what it's been like owning this thing for almost 13 years now. So I bought this in 2010. Actually, truth be told, I traded a Dodge Ram that I had to a buddy of mine for this vehicle. I had a 2000 Dodge Ram 1500, and this was a 2002 Nissan Xterra. I would say that I have just been so impressed over and over and over with this vehicle, and just how suitable and how functional it's been in such a wide variety of situations. If you're wondering what the deal is with the numbers on the side, this is actually a quote-unquote race car. I went in a rallycross race last summer, and oh my god, did I ever have a lot of fun. This thing actually did pretty well too, despite being very slow and underpowered. I actually beat some Subarus, and I think I came in 12th place out of 19 people, which is just shocking to me. But it just goes to show the unbelievable variety of stuff that you can do with these. You know, they're rated to tow 5,000 pounds, which I don't know how well it's going to do in steep mountains, but I mean, that is a lot of weight for a little V6 SUV. Off-road capability on this thing is pretty amazing. You're definitely going to get into situations where having a locker or lockers is going to make a huge difference, as well as having bigger tires. But I've had this thing through so many situations where I didn't think you'd ever be able to drive over that without scraping the bottom, or, you know, just shocking getting over rocks and out in the snow and all kinds of stuff. I mean, these things are very sure-footed off-road. I've also had lots of weight on the roof rack before, probably more than is recommended, but when I was helping somebody move one time, we had just stacks of 2x10s up there and stuff. The back seat folds down. Me and my wife and daughter have gone camping in this a couple of times. I've moved with it. I mean, there's been couches and just all kinds of stuff in this vehicle, and it just keeps on ticking. This thing's got over 270,000 kilometers on it. Runs like a top. No visible body rust at all, except for this spot right here where the windshield wiper used to rub. I accidentally broke that years ago and have never gotten around to fixing it, so is what it is. But regardless, it's just crazy how well this thing has held up. In case some of you are wondering what the deal is with this very homemade and strange looking bumper, this was a metalworking project that I did a while ago. It was a shocking amount of work. I'm a little bit torn on the view of it. You know, it's not the prettiest thing out there, but it was a really kind of a dream come true just to jump in and try and make a bumper like this for something. I did have a lot of fun with it. Now, those of you with a keen eye might notice that these are actually the rims off of an Xterra SE, which is the supercharged version. I actually got a really good deal on these wheels and tires off Craigslist. Unfortunately, they had some leaks in them, so my buddy Dave very generously helped me pull the tires off with his tire machine, and we were able to get the rims and stuff all cleaned up and sealed, and they seem to be holding air just fine now. So still quite a bit of tread on these BFGs. Not sure how well you can see, but these could easily have another year or two in them with how little I actually drive this thing. So anyways, let's start getting into some of the cons of this vehicle and some of the reasons why people aren't crazy about them. I did a video recently about my 12 valve, actually filmed right in this spot. 5 things I hate about my 12 valve. And I was going to do 5 things I hate about my Xterra, and honestly, I couldn't even come up with 5 things, which is just insane. The number one, by far, biggest issue with this is fuel economy. It's a vehicle from 2002. I mean, everything was different back then. Stuff didn't make much power, and, you know, things like this were just terrible on gas. My V8 Dakota RT with an engine, you know, close to double the size of this one, gets the exact same mileage. I mean, it's just wild. But in terms of just a go anywhere, do anything vehicle, this thing is so nice to have around. It's actually been off the road for a while, and we got a real nasty snap of winter over Christmas, so I threw this back on the road to be my winter vehicle, and it's just been spectacular for that. Very sure-footed, just warm and cozy and reliable and all that kind of stuff. Really good for that. But fuel economy, oh my god, it is bad. After fuel economy, the next biggest complaint you will probably hear is power. Now, this is the non-supercharged version, so it's going to be even a bit worse in that regard. There is a 4-cylinder out there, which would probably be much slower again, but anyways, I have recently discovered something that made the lack of power a lot more tolerable. Let me show you that. So this is probably something that is common knowledge to a lot of you, but it was not common knowledge to me. You've got these buttons, or this button right here, for kicking it out of overdrive. The thing that I didn't realize, though, was when you kick it out of overdrive, it'll go into lockup when it's in, you know, third gear or whatever that is. And if you're coming up to a big mountain hill and you kick that out and get the vehicle in lockup and just give it the beans a little bit to have some power on hand, this thing rips up some of the nastiest hills that I've ever been on. I live in British Columbia, which is pretty much all mountains everywhere. That show Highway Through Hell is between here and Vancouver, where that's filmed, and I mean, just nasty hill after nasty hill, and at a pretty good speed. It's 120 kilometer an hour zone. And this thing, I mean, you kick it out of overdrive and put it into lockup or whatever that does, and I mean, it just blasts up those hills, no problem, as long as you know, make sure you got power on tap at the bottom, you know, as you're getting going. If you start mid-hill, you're going to be working at it and stuff, but it's actually very functional. I mean, I've had this thing back and forth to Vancouver a bunch of times, and now that I know about that, no complaints at all. So just to give you an example, on the drive to Vancouver, when you leave Kelowna, I think you go up about 4,000 feet of elevation within the first half hour of driving or 45 minutes of driving. It's a lot of climbing. And as long as you don't have to slow down for a big truck or something like that, I mean, this thing will just motor right up there at 110 kilometers an hour. So in terms of horsepower, I should also mention that this thing has a super low gear ratio in the axles. I want to say it's like 4.69 to 1 or something crazy like that. So off the line around town, you know, when you're leaving from a stoplight and stuff, this thing is fairly spunky. I mean, there's only so much that you can do to kind of fudge power with gears. There's lots of times that you know, the thing is just sluggish and slow, and that's just the way it is. It's only got 165 horsepower, but overall, is it drivable and livable? Absolutely. All right, folks, well, there we have it. That was a look at my 2002 Nissan Xterra. I should also mention that the reason that I bought those 17-inch rims off the Xterra XE is that I want to put studded winter tires on the stock rims and just use them for doing rallycross next winter. So definitely stay tuned to the channel if you want to watch that. Other plans for this vehicle would be to turn it into a rock crawler. I actually have a set of 1-ton axles and a divorced NP205 transfer case to put on there, and I would really like to put this thing on 40-inch tires or 39s or something like that and turn it into just a fun off-road toy. I do have other vehicles that I drive, so turning this into something that's even less practical and less fuel efficient is not that big of a deal for me. But anyways, if that's something that you guys are interested in seeing, it probably won't be for a while, but please let me know, and let me know what you think of the vehicle. All right, folks, do you love it? Do you hate it? Have you ever had one? Let me know in the comments. I just love this vehicle. I seriously had considered selling it recently, but I just don't know that I could let it go. I've had this thing down to New Mexico and up and down the California coast and Tahoe and Vegas, and just so many good memories in this old thing. And I mean, it's not rusty and it runs, and I'm running out of reasons as to why I should ever get rid of it, but I would love to know what you guys think. Anyways, please give me a thumbs up and a subscribe. It really does help, and we will see you on the next one.